And we welcome you inside Wildcats Stadium. For the first time since 2014, the Eagan Wildcats have a home playoff game. Tonight, the Forest Lake Rangers making their trek down to Wildcat country and what should be a fun football game. Forest Lake is ranked 5th in this bracket. The Wildcats are 4th. And you talk to both coaches, and they and everybody else, they expect this one to be a very, very close football game. So again, my name is Mike Cook. Happy to be joined again by Nathan Cron. As you look at the Forest Lake student section, they made a nice trek down here from 35E to make the follow their Rangers. And in the pit tonight, boy, they are decked out as well. You've got the blue for the seniors, the green for the juniors, the white for the sophomores and freshmen. And we expect this place to be rocking.
Well, it absolutely should be. It's been a long time since the Eagan Wildcats have had a home playoff game, and a game with so much promise. For both these programs, both programs that are developing good culture, building on basic building blocks. But for the Eagan Wildcats, it's the culmination of a season that they spent, starting a little bit slow, but winners of the last 4.
As you look at the Forest Lake Rangers, they started out 5-0 this year. Brad Beaskow, the new coach this year at Forest Lake. You see him middle of your screen with the maroon hat. Forest Lake, they've lost 2 of 3 down the stretch. However, the one loss was to Stillwater, a top team in this Class 6A. And last week they were down at Lakeville North, got beat by a Panther squad that I believe is better than their 3-5 record. And it was also a game where Coach Beaskow said, just too many mistakes. Too many mistakes haunted Forest Lake. They learned from it. They're ready to go tonight.
Well, we've seen it so many times with these Eagan Wildcats, Mike Cook, where mistakes equal points for the other team, equal short fields for the other team, equal domination by the other team, and the as you said, Coach Brad Beaskow was telling us prior to the game, if we eliminate the mistakes, we're going to be successful. I don't know if we're going to, I'll add this part. You don't know if you're going to win or lose as the Rangers now come on to the field.
And the pit expressing some disapproval, but of course they're on their feet on the far side. Again, Forest Lake, much like Eagan this year, programs that have been down in the dumps for quite a while. Forest Lake, they've made a nice turnaround this year. We said they're 6-2 coming in. The Eagan Wildcats, they're about to take the field. They come in at 5-3. Huge win last week at Shakopee. Jack Hansen with that 30-yard game-winning field goal. As you look at some of the highlights, Tonsauger, he scored from about 40 yards out. Matt Nyson scored about 80 yards on a pitch. Jackson Heller, big night for Shakopee, but he got hurt with about 3 minutes to go. And here's Ison on that one. I believe it was 82 yards on that pitch. And you can see the excitement on that Eagan sideline.
Well, that was as big a win for the Wildcat program as they've had probably in almost the last decade or so against a quality number 1 seed seeking Shakopee Sabre football team. And so for the Shakopee Sabres, that was a major upset, but so much momentum for these Wildcats, as you see there, Peter McGivern catching the halfback pass from Mr. Gage. So, ultimately, and of course, then the game winner,
Jack Hansen. Here come the Wildcats onto the field, by the way, as we go back live in Wildcat country. As we said, first time since 2014, Eagan Wildcats have a postseason game on the campus of Eagan High School. That game, a 30-29 win over Lakeville South. Sam Schubert, a 1-yard run late in the 4th for the Cats in that one. Sam Zenner had 3 touchdown runs for the Wildcats in that 2014 contest.
I'm sure all those alumni would tell these players, soak it all in, enjoy it while you can, because it's gone in the blink of an eye. But for those of us fortunate enough to call these games, watch these games, produce these games, be the camera people, it's a whole evening of entertainment, of fun, and it's a huge community event. I just hope these Wildcats, are ready. I hope these Rangers are ready. We're going to have a great football game here tonight.
Absolutely. And we'll get things started. We'll throw it to public address announcer Dave Giles.
They are Dan Sanoa, Mark Frascone, and Frank Caldwell. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the national anthem will be presented. The flag is located at the north end of the stadium and at midfield. The national anthem will be performed by tenors and basses from the Eagan High School choirs. They are under the direction of Jim Cox and Amy Cherner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please remain standing until the colors are off the field. Thank you.
All right, the flag is going away. The anthem has been sung. By the way, a couple of Wildcat players in that choir I noticed again. Andrew Faber was out there along with Rowan Swartz. So good to see a couple of Wildcats in the choir as well tonight. Got part of the band out on the field. They're going to head out shortly. As you look at the Eagan Wildcats, we said 5-3 coming in. Had that big win over Shakopee last week. Won 4 in a row. Also, on those 3 games before that, they had won big. It was Eastview, I think, was 41-3. Hopkins was 48-rip. Burnsville a little bit of a nail-biter, 13-3, but the kind of game that the Wildcats would have lost a year ago.
Yeah, you know, it would have been the kind of game that the Wildcats would have tended to lose. You know, the culture change, the culture change involves a change of mental toughness, and I'm sure both programs have seen that. You've got to be mentally tough and resilient, able to overcome adversity, and certainly against Burnsville, the Wildcats certainly had a good dose of adversity with injuries to one of their primary quarterbacks being the chief among them.
Again, Forest Lake, we said they come in 6-2, started out 5-0 as the pit for the Wildcats. Pardon me, the Forest Lake fans will go back to the Eagan side, but they are rocking, and there's a strong turnout on the other side, wearing the maroon and gold. Forest Lake going to be set to kick this one off to get things rolling here in Wildcat country. 6A playoffs about to get going. And we are underway from Wildcat country. This is icing out across the 20 to the 25-yard line where the Eagan Wildcats will start things off. Eric Hauer in on the stop Emick Hauer in on the stop for Forest Lake. As you look at Matt Nyson, number 20, had that nice 82-yard run last week in Shakopee that gave the Wildcats a 2-score lead. And all those points were definitely needed in that one. Again, Brooklyn Evans, he'll lead the Wildcat offense, the sophomore, number 11. Again, Carson Schwamm, the other Wildcat quarterback this year, he is out with an injury. Straight ahead, Tonsager, and I think we can expect to see a lot of number 8 tonight.
Well, why not? I mean, you've got your senior running back who's going to just plow the way, and he presents a real challenge for any defense because he does such a nice job of finding creases between the guard tackle gap where he did that time.
Mark Rendell, number 5, by the way, be the main man, or one of the main men for this Forest Lake defense, number 5, just a junior. And it's going to be, I believe, enough for a first down. Sticks are on the far side. It looks like they made it. Waiting for the sticks to move, and there they go. First down, Eagan Wildcats. Anderson, the ball carrier this time.
It'll be interesting to see, you know, when the playoffs, you don't want to do making a lot of changes, Mike Cook. You don't want to see a lot of variety necessarily, but it's nice to see Anderson get an early carry there as well, spell Tonsager, and maybe give the Forest Lake defense a little bit of a change of pace.
Cole Meyer still in at center for the Wildcats. Took over a few weeks ago when Javon Hanna was hurt. And again, nice 5-yard pickup on first down. Forest Lake says they have a football. And the officials say they do! Forest Lake comes up with a fumble at the Wildcat 40, and it looks like Reed Olson is the man that gets the loose pigskin. Golden opportunity early for Forest Lake.
Well, a big mistake for the Wildcats. Wildcats cannot compete against teams consistently and hold on to this football. Let's see where that ball comes out. Yeah, that ball was ripped out. Nice gang tackling by the Forest Lake Rangers. That time they had him wrapped up, and the second man in was punching or ripping at that ball, and now the Wildcats find themselves with a short field to have to defend.
Yep. 1:16 into this football game. Forest Lake in Eagan territory. Just get things rolling. Forest Lake, they're gonna go deep on first down. He's got a man downfield. Just overthrown. Number 6, the intended target. And we're going to call that name a lot tonight. Weston Hoyt. 7 catches, 175 a week ago at North.
Hoyt, a fantastic two-way player for the Rangers, does a nice job on both sides of the ball. He's going to come off after making that lung-busting run. But the reality of it is that the Rangers also need to spread this ball out, and they will run the football, although they did not have great success last week against the Lakeville North Panthers.
Yeah, just 9 yards on offense on the ground for Forest Lake. Zidler, the quarterback, with the man in motion here, second down. They're going to run it straight ahead. And that's a nice pickup that time. I believe that was that Hoyt, I believe. Nope, check that. That's number 8. We're going to call that name a lot tonight as well. Leighton Patzer, probably the top running back for this Forest Lake squad. It's going to show third and about 4 upcoming. Look at the replay there. And again, just a nice hole. Nice. I don't know who that was on that right guard for Forest Lake. A nice kickout block.
Said it all year, Mike Cook. The Wildcats have got to attack the line of scrimmage rather than catch blocks.
Zidler, will he go to the air? No, they're going to pitch it. Plenty of room that time for Forest Lake. Did I say plenty of room? I did, because he's going to the house. Touchdown, Forest Lake. That's Hoyt. 35-yard touchdown for Hoyt. 6-0 Forest Lake early.
Well, nice job by Hoyt using his blocks. We'll see the replay here. He's going to come to the top of your screen. There's multiple blocks there, positive blocks there for the Rangers, but some bad tackling, frankly, by the Wildcats, and they lost the outside containment. If you contain Hoyt, you have a chance to gang tackle. You lose outside contain, it's Katie bar the door.
Could not be a better start for Forest Lake, as they are now up 7-0. Barely 2 minutes into this Class 6A round of 32 matchup. Winner of this one going to most likely get Maple Grove. Maple Grove is playing Hopkins tonight, and if you follow high school football, you know Hopkins, that should be a name your score kind of thing. As I told somebody, your odds are better winning that $800 million Powerball tomorrow, I think, than of Hopkins beating Maple Grove.
Yeah, so. I think the Hopkins program is where the Wildcats were a few years back, and it's, getting first downs and scoring some points and generating good, positive, movement in the direction they need to go. But, the coaching staff there is changing that culture. It's going to turn around. Yep. Just give it a little time. But tonight, right now, the Wildcats are going to turn this around. So they've gone down early. Now is not the time to panic if you're in blue and silver. Don't panic. Stick to your game plan. Do what you're supposed to do. Protect the football. Ball security is going to be key. It's also going to be important for you to try to force something from these Rangers.
Yeah, Ernest Goodwin set to kick off for Forest Lake. Anderson and Rockford back deep for the Wildcats. And this one is going to curve towards the corner. Will it get to the end zone, or did it go out of bounds? They got to the end zone. First down, Wildcats at their own 20-yard line. The ball didn't stay in bounds by much, but it did. About a 15-yard difference there.
Oh, absolutely.
Coach Henderson and the Eagan trying to see what he had for the Eagan offense to get rolling.
Well, the Eagan Wildcat offense was moving the football, Mike, before that fumble, and so I mean they were grounding the ball down between the tackles, and I think I would expect to see a fairly steady dose of that here.
I would think the same as well. Again, Brooklyn Evans under center. Evans falls forward, gets to about the 4, or picks up, I should say, about 4 yards. Jake Aho on the stop, number 9 for Forest Lake. Took at that replay as Forest Lake just did a nice job of staying with Evans as he tried to cut to the outside.
Well, that's the smart play, right? The smart play as a defense is, okay, they're going to option me, they're going to option to the outside, limit their yardage, make them get 3 yards, 3 to 4 yards every play, make the other team be perfect.
Anderson goes in motion. Tonsager going to bring that plow his way through. It looks like he's got enough to move the sticks. And it should be first down Eagan Wildcats. Again, Landon Tonsager, I think it was 91 yards a week ago at Shakopee. But I would argue all but a handful of those were very tough yards.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Tonsager has been effectively the bell cow here for the Wildcats for most of the season after Parker Fall went down. And now, not that Tonsager was necessarily a backup running back, but certainly his reps have increased substantially.
Tonsager in the backfield. And he'll got it once again, but he was gobbled up by a bunch of guys on that front line for Forest Lake. Just a 1-yard pickup. Forest Lake, they were not fooled at all on that.
Mills and Johnson all over that there for the Rangers.
Like Mestel was in there too.
Yep.
Second and long for the Cats. 3.5 gone by. It's already 7-0 Forest Lake. Student section trying to get the Go Big Blue chant going. Here's Evans. And it's going to be 3rd and about 5 upcoming for the Wildcats. As Evans gets 3, maybe 4 on that one.
Yeah, 3rd and 5 is not exactly where you want to be if you're in an option offense, but you'll take it. It was nice blocking to the corner, nice kick out there by Tonsager in the backfield. Good blocking down the field, at least several good blocks there down the field. I couldn't quite pick out a couple of those numbers, but Evans had a nice place to turn it up and hit that crease.
Big play early for the Cats. Will be just joining us. Cats turned the ball over early. Forest Lake scored right away. Cats need to get a first down. Not going to happen. Extremely good job that time by the Forest Lake defense. And we said Mark Rendell's going to be on a lot of stops. He was right there.
I think this is the right call for the Wildcats. Punt this ball, not take any chances. It's the first quarter. Your defense on a long field is going to play better than on a short field. I think we're going to be okay here. Just got to unload and get this off quickly.
Good snap. A short kick. And they're going to let that one go. Smart move there by the Forest Lake return man. And the Forest Lake Rangers going to take over at their own 37-yard line. Well, 6:48 to go here in this opening quarter on ETV. You're home for Wildcats Sports, and judging by what I saw on social media this week, we've got a lot of Forest Lake fans watching us as well, so thanks for tuning into the broadcast. Your team is up by a 7-0 count early. You got to be loving that. So Forest Lake, it took them 3 plays to score on that last drive, with Hoyt going 35 to the house. They'll send a man in motion near side, and they're just going to run it straight ahead. Not going to get much that time again. I believe that was number 8 that time, Leighton Patzer. Again, Patzer has got the most yardage this year for Forest Lake on the ground.
Well, the Rangers have got several players that can do things, special things for them offensively, but I like how they're using the East-West game to open up the opportunity to have Patzer go between the tackles.
2 receivers right. And it's going to be a little swing pass. They've had a lot of success with that this year. That's Hoyt once again. And the success continues Weston Hoyt, the senior from the Forest Lake 38 to almost just past the Wildcat 38. Let's take a look at that pass. Actually, I believe that's going to be a rush. It was a backward pass. So it's going to be a 24-yard run.
Well, no matter how it's scored, it's a 24-yard pickup for the Rangers, and nicely done that time. It's what you expect out of your senior quarterback, a clean ball, the runner able to get a hold of it, turn up the field.
This is about where they started that drive after Eagan fumbled earlier this quarter. All right, better job that time by the Eagan defense. Coming up off the bottom of the pile, Connor Strop, big number 88. Minimal pickup that time for Forest Lake. We'll give them a couple of yards that time. Those are the kind of stops Eagan has to make. Josh Learn coming in there as well.
Well, I do you one better, Mike Cook. I think Eagan's got to attack the line of scrimmage more forcefully.
Send a man near side. Pitch. Lots of room. We got a flag on the play. This one I think is going to, it's in the area of holding, but let's see what indeed the infraction is. First penalty of the football game upcoming. As you look at number 8 there, Leighton Passer, he's just a junior.
Yeah.
Nice job. He saw Caden Tonsauger come up and just bounce that one to the outside, got an extra 5. Except he did not know the yellow hanky was on the ground behind him.
Second down.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, moving the ball to the west.
The ball's going to move back 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Coach Beastow was talking to us before the game about mental mistakes, and that's, again, a mental mistake you can't make. You can't, by committing the penalty, you've wiped out a positive gain, and now you've put yourself behind the sticks.
Eagan Pitt trying to fire up the guys here on the near side. Bleachers almost full here in Wildcat country on the home side, and they're probably 80% full on the Forest Lake side. Set up nicely done there to Hoyt. He'll try to deke a man, gets back to about the 35. Turned into about a 10-yard gain for Forest Lake, and just nicely executed right there by the Rangers.
I always want to say Lakers for some reason.
So
it rolls off the tongue a little bit easier, but what a brilliant middle screen there to Hoyt. Nicely done. Good job setting it up, and if you're the defensive line, you got to know, hey, if one of my guys is close to the quarterback, I got to throttle down and look for a dump man.
Eagan needs to make a stop here, 3rd and about 8. And Eagan will not make the stop. The chains are going to move. Number 8 for Forest Lake once again late, and Patzer, first down Rangers. Boy, they're making that look easy.
Well, attacking the edge has been historically for these Wildcats has been something that's been a struggle for them. Watch, they're pulling. Rangers are pulling 59 and 69. That's, make sure I get some names here. It's Stapleton and Klesk pulling around right end, and just Pets are just doing a nice job of tucking in behind them.
Straight ahead, straight up the middle. It's going to be another first down and more for Forest Lake. Barreling his way down to the 15-yard line was, again, number 8, Leighton Patzer. It's going to be a gain of 12. 2 carries, 21 yards on the last couple of plays for number 8. But again, look at that hole he's got there.
Yeah.
Outstanding job by the guys in front.
Oh, great job by the guys in front in white. Bad job by the guys in blue. They've got to get off those blocks and then attack the line of scrimmage. Right now they're catching blocks, and that's why the Rangers are having so much success.
And again, Rangers will send a man in motion. Quarterback keep. Bounces to the inside and gets down to about the 9-yard line that time. That was Zidler. But still, a pickup of about 6 on first down for Forest Lake.
Big series here for the Wildcats. I mean, again, we're still very early in this game, and the Wildcats have shown the ability to get first downs and move the ball, but going down by 2 scores early would not be helpful and might mess with your game plan. So it'd be nice to get a big stop here for the guys in blue.
2nd and about 4. Going around far side. There's Hoyt. He's got 1 tonight. Cuts inside. Cats have got to tackle a little bit better. He turns what should have been a couple-yard loss into about a 3-yard pickup, which means 3rd and 1 for Forest Lake.
Well, it was a lonely place for Mason Gugino to be out on an island like that. Now, you're right, the tackle needs to be made, but at the same time, watch Gugino on the outside. He does a nice job of breaking down, dropping his hips so that Hoyt's not able to run around him, and at least he waits for help. And that's where Gugino, that's where he does something very successful.
Yeah, Rockford and Teller in there to finish him off. But 3rd and 1, Forest Lake. Got to be 4-down territory if you don't get it on this play. We're going to find out because they are not going to make it on 3rd down. That play just was never able to develop.
I have to admit, I am utterly confused as to what just happened.
I thought they were maybe going to try a little jump pass.
Well, that was the fake. That was what Zeidler did in the backfield after he hands off the ball. And maybe that's to freeze the backside, but the running back didn't turn it and come back. That was a very interesting. I have to go back and look at that one on replay someday soon and figure it out.
It is right here.
Watch him come to the left.
Oh, he's waiting for his man to pull, actually.
Yeah, so the backside guard didn't turn it up. The backside guard just sat in his lap.
4th and 2. The pit's below us. They're going to make some noise if the Cats get the stop. And the pit will be quiet. That's 1st down Forest Lake.
Yeah, getting over the 5-yard line is what he had to do, so it's going to be 1st and goal for the Rangers.
3-yard carry that time by Zidler. We're down to a minute to go in this opening quarter. This drive for Forest Lake started back at their own 37-yard line. And their fans that made the trek down 35E, they're very happy over there on that side of the field. 1st and goal, they're going to say the ball's at the 4. Could be the final play of the opening quarter if they do not score. We'll send a man in motion. Looking to roll it out. Throw, pass, tipped. And almost intercepted on the diving stop that time by Kruger. Went off the hands of, I believe that was Rydell for Forest Lake. Or Rendell, check that, not Rydell. Rendell. It is Rendell.
Well, Laren came knifing through that time right over the right guard. Zeidler did a nice job of just getting rid of the ball, though I have to say he put that one up for grabs.
2nd goal from the 4. Cats looking to blitz. Pitch. Patzer. Touchdown untouched. 4 yards. Score. 13 rip Forest Lake.
Well, it's just a little bit too easy. Watch the right side of your screen here. Patzer, he missed it on the replay necessarily, but Patzer gets to the outside, and there's like a 3-man option. There's the dive, there's the pass, there's the pitch. It's too much for the outside defenders to handle. Wildcats are going to have to tighten that up as going forward.
Vince Valentini, PAT attempt, pops it up, and looks like he missed it just to the right. So it stays 13-0 Forest Lake. So the 5 seed over the 4 seed, but again, look at this. Plenty of room. Nice kickoff blocked on the way by number 40 in white, Emmick Hauer. Yeah, Cats just had no chance on that play.
Yeah, just look at the Rangers as they're blocking down the field. They're locked on. They're moving their feet. Their hands aren't outside the frame, and that's just too. That's too good, right? That's going to. You're not going to be successful defensively if you cannot get off those blocks.
32 yards of offense so this far for the Wildcats. And for Forest Lake, 63 plus 38 is 101. And 2 touchdowns. The Cats find themselves down by 2 scores for the first time since, probably what, week 4 with these?
I was going to say September, maybe?
Yeah. A lot of noise. The band is fired up.
I will say this, the Wildcats have, unlike past Wildcat teams, the Wildcats do have the mental intensity and the mental fortitude. I expect we will see a good response from the Wildcats here in the second quarter.
And this one shall be returnable from about the 8-yard line. Past the 20, 25, a little bit of a seam. Ison cuts it back. Madden Eisen out near midfield. Great return by the Eagan Wildcat. He's a sophomore, is Eisen.
Well, that's what you needed if you're the Wildcats. You needed a big play. You needed some sort of something to get some momentum, get your guys excited, get your fans back into it. And Isom delivers. Look at this, just pushing the pile down.
At the
Nicely done, gentlemen.
49. Yeah, we're going to say 43 yards on that return. So final stages here, quarter number 1 on ETV. Evans, pitch, Ison fumbles. And the ball got, Ison either covered or it got out of bounds, but Cats avoiding danger again. Matthew Schwartz was in there for Forest Lake. And the Cats lost 5 on that after the beautiful kick return by Ison.
So there needs to be better ball security. Evans has got to protect that ball and give his running back, that ball's got to hit him somewhere between the waist and the chest, or shoulder pads. Evans airmail shot that one just a little too high that time.
Loss of about 5, that makes it 2nd and 15 on what could be the final play of the quarter. Fumble, Forest Lake football. When it rains, it pours. Weston Hoyt recovery. He's got a touchdown. Now a fumble recovery. This cannot get any worse for the home team.
No, absolutely not. And Evans has a nice gain. Watch him. He's coming right into your living room. He's got a nice gain, and player on the back. Let's see, that's number 7.
Yeah, we got to get that.
Absolutely.
Colby Christensen. Yeah, we haven't called that name tonight, I know. He's got some pretty gaudy stats for Forest Lake.
Yeah, Christensen did a nice job of making the tackle, but also poking the ball out from behind. And that's just, you can't, if you're Brooklyn Evans, you can't do that. You got to hold on to the ball. There's got to be maximum ball security. That's 2 turnovers already for the Wildcats. We're not even out of the first quarter.
No. Well, if you're Forest Lake, you go for it all right here. Little trickery. Cutting it up, and that was read well by the Wildcats. Going to be dropped at the 45-yard line with Saltness, but what a nice opening quarter for the Rangers. The 5 seed up 13-0 on the 4 seed after 1 quarter here on ETV. We take a look at this once again, and nice job by the Wildcats. Carter Will coming over to make that stop. Jerry Teller was over there as well. But again, just a rough 12 opening minutes for the boys in blue. Want to make sure we give a shout out tonight, of course, to all of our sponsors, as always. Cooper's, Tavern 13, Kitchen and Rail, Wyatt's Twisted Americana, Domino's, Jersey Mike's, and there's like 35 or 40 other Eagan businesses, all been part of the program this year. Great to have everyone on board here in Wildcat country. Hey, before I think about it, quick shout out, Kassan Lee, Eagan freshman, finished 4th state AA tennis today. So congratulations to Kassan.
It's great to see. It's great to see the athletics across the board here successful for the Wildcats. I mean, football team, soccer teams, tennis, as you point out, volleyball's team still going strong in the playoffs as well.
No, they're not. They got beat last night by Rosemount.
Check that.
Forest Lake, by the way, they're going to be in their section final. I did notice that in today's paper as well. Speaking of Forest Lake, here they come again. And that's going to set up 3rd and about 4 that time as Patzer picks up about 4 or 5 yards. Yeah, that Eagan volleyball team, they lost 3-2 to Rosemount, won the first 2 sets. 3rd set, I think it was like 27-25. Rosemount got it, and then Cats didn't get either 4 or 5, and they are done.
I checked that. Apologies to everybody at home. I obviously made a little bit of a mistake there.
3rd down. Nice job. Keenan Wilson busting through. No chance that time for the Forest Lake quarterback. Van Zieler just had to eat that football.
We got a bunch of blue people pointing as if they recovered the ball. Do we have a discussion? Nope. I think they're going to say it's 4th down.
Official coming in from the far side. I think he had a good look at it.
Well,
let's see.
Oh, that ball's absolutely
out.
Oh, my heavens.
Oh, that's a horrible call.
Oh, my heavens, yes.
There it is.
That ball was well out. Oh, my heavens, that ball was well out before the player was ever on the deck. That's That's the right. I have to say, I'm glad the officials got it right. But you can see with your own eyes, ladies and gentlemen, no matter where you are, that ball's on the ground before everybody's on the ground on top of them. And wow, what a momentum change here for these Wildcats.
Keenan Wilson, Jerry Tella in on the stop. For the Eagan Wildcats from the Forest Lake 48. Early stages quarter two. Cats down by a couple of scores. Cats yet to put it in the air. Tonsauger bounces to the outside. And the senior's going to get a first down. That's 10 yards by number 8. Nice job by Tonsauger. He saw there was nothing where he was going. Just bounced it outside. First down, Eagan.
I think Landon Tonsauger was selling himself short there because I think he had Hoyt to take on. But I would have loved to see him take on Hoyt and see if he could hit that stiff arm and head to the outside. But I'll take 10 yards. Thank you very much.
Set it down, straight ahead. Tonsauger once again falls forward, gets about 6 that time. Good, following the left side of that line. And speaking of that, we've got that's Javon Hanna, slow to get up. You know, he battled an ankle injury a few weeks ago, which is actually why Cole Meyer is center and Meyer stayed at center. Well, he just saw Tonsauger just run right into the back and take Gage, and I didn't see where Hanna went down. Punks are added. The rest of that Eagan offensive line. Cole Will, 57, is your right guard. George Esser, 66, the right tackle. Adrian Moses, left tackle, 71. And again, Hanna was he was at left guard. So we shall see who will replace him, at least for a play. Although the longer they're out there, the more you think that's going to be more than just a play. As Dr. Diana Bachlan, the team trainer for the Wildcats, who are down by a 13 rip count. Again, the winner of this will be at number 1 Maple Grove next Friday night.
A lot of excitement here in this stadium, despite the fact that the home team is down by 13. There's a good crowd on the Forest Lake side, good number of people stretched out around the fence, and of course here on the home side, I wouldn't say there's still some grass available on the hill over there, but the bleachers are full. We're really excited as Hannah's up, looking a little gimpy. And we'll see if that changes or does anything to change how the Wildcats attack the Forest Lake defense. I would imagine it's not going to change anything.
I want to give credit, Finer Meats and Eats. They're one of the food trucks here tonight. Been here multiple times this year in Wildcat country. Always happy to have those guys here as part of the Friday Night Lights festivities here in Wildcat country. Going to be 2nd and 5 for the Wildcats. Keenan Wilson's going to go in and play guard for the Wildcats. Of course, Keenan Wilson, the big North Dakota State commit, 55 in blue. Tonsauger, that was read extremely well by Forest Lake. Coming up from the defensive line, linebacker Hunter Gruba, the junior, all over Tonsauger on that one.
Well, you had the luxury of a nice run on first down so that you don't have a gain on second down, which they didn't. You have an opportunity still on third down to makeable, and of course, you're probably in 4-down territory anyway if you're the Wildcats. So here, be smart here. You know, the expectation would be what? Tonsauger probably.
I'll keep an eye on Peter McGivern lined up to the right. He only had 1 catch last week, but that was a huge one on that halfback option from Anderson. And there they go, McGivern, little high, but good coverage that time. Cats fans looking for a call against Reed Olson. And they're not going to get it, so it's going to be 4th down. So we take a look at that replay. With the naked eye, I thought he was okay. With the naked eye, I would be wrong.
You would be wrong. Yeah, he arrived early, but he arrived close enough that he didn't draw the flag, and that's crafty defensive backs. That's what you have to do. Big 4th down here for the Wildcats.
I'm going to one-up you. I'm going to call it huge. You're down 13-0.
Yep.
You haven't been able to slow down Forest Lake at all.
Not yet. No, that's absolutely right.
And we're going to have a timeout taken on the field. Did not see who took it.
It's they're signaled for the Wildcats.
Okay.
Signal for the Wildcats, and I think that's a good timeout to take.
I would agree.
Make sure you've got everybody lined up in the right place, especially since you've got, if Javon Hanna's not on the field, I'm looking for him on the sideline. I don't see him on the sideline, but I also don't see him on the field. So my guess is you want to make sure everybody knows what's going on, everybody knows where they're supposed to be. And of course, the Forest Lake Rangers had a sneak peek, perhaps, at the play because the Wildcats actually moved Tonsager out into the slot. We'll have to see if they stick with that formation or whether they change up the play now. But it's a 4th and 6, a long 5, maybe 6 that they've got to convert.
Yeah, Cats have yet to complete a pass. Look at Mills and that Forest Lake defense looking to make the stop. And 4th and 5. Forest Lake, they come into this game, they're 6-2. Eagan Wildcats 5-3. Big 5-4 matchup tonight in Class 6A. Bottom of your screen, you can see the helmet. That's McGivern. A lot of noise being made on the visitor stands. Evans. No chance. Needed 5, got 3. That play was never going to happen. Zach O'Connell all over that play for Forest Lake.
Well, I like the idea. I like the idea. He had some good lead blocking, but on the backside, you know what happened? It was the backside actually. Watch here. It's the backside that takes away the cutback lane. If Brooklyn Evans has a cutback lane there, Mike Cook, he's still running, okay? But there was no cutback lane for Brooklyn Evans, and so that's really where the stop occurs, and now the Rangers get it on their 30-yard line.
Yep. And they're 2 for 2 on drives thus far as Nick Johnson and Mark Henderson talk for the Wildcats. Gary Smith, the offensive assistant coach, he was in there as well on that discussion. And that is try to get set up. Nothing happened in that time.
I like the call. I like the call for the Wildcats, not only going for it on 4th down, but also the play call is solid because they've converted that before. But you've got to block it off. You have to block that cutback so there's not pressure. So when Evans inevitably hits a wall, he can cut. And if he makes a cut, he probably gets the 1st down.
Jake Johnson, by the way, the intended receiver of that last play for Forest Lake. Have not called his name yet tonight, and I know he's been a very key contributor to this Ranger offense. And we've got lengthy discussion over on the Wildcats sideline. I'm not sure what that was about, but the referee trots back out onto the field.
It was an incomplete pass. It was an attempted screen set up by the Rangers, and I wonder if there was a conversation as to whether there was that he held the ball and then fumbled it, but certainly from where we were, it certainly looked like an incomplete pass.
Absolutely. 2nd and 10, Forest Lake. Might be the first time they've had 2nd and 10 tonight. And that one is read very well by the Wildcat defense. Carter Will gets in there. Jerry Tella gets in there. And Keegan Ziedler had nowhere to go that time.
Well, that was the kind of tackling that the Wildcats in their run of form in the last few weeks have done a pretty good job with. Good penetration there by the Wildcats changes that play. Ziedler's got really nowhere to go. Now the Wildcats have got to protect the perimeter. The Forest Lake Rangers, I can tell you, guarantee you they're going to hit the perimeter and they're going to try to go around these Wildcats.
I'll give Connor Strops the credit on that last play as well. He was the first man to the back. Forest Lake's going to roll out near side. Got his man out near the 40. What a defensive play. Kruger. Jack Kruger was all over that throw.
Oh, what a great play by Kruger. Nicely done coming up and rolling over. Watch him. He's going to come to the bottom of your screen here. It's a good pass by Ziedler. He did a nice job. And his receiver didn't really come back on the ball. It was Johnson. He didn't really come back on the ball, but at the same time, I don't think he expected the defensive back to be there. In any event, it's a punt here for the Rangers.
First time tonight. Good snap. High kick. Cats are going to let that one hit the turf, and Cats touched it, I think. But they do recover. Cats continue to foot it with danger. Mason Gugino able to fall on it, though.
Well, he was the hero on third down, and he just about became the GOAT on fourth down, Mike Cook, as Kruger was not paying attention to where that ball was, and that is the kind of mental mistake that will absolutely kill you in 6A at any level, but certainly at 6A. We've already seen the Wildcats tonight put the ball on the turf twice, bailed out once by the Lakers doing the same. Excuse me, Rangers. I did it again. Rangers doing the same thing.
That's too easy. And that play is going to go nowhere. Maybe a yard for Tonsauger on that carry. I want to give Forest Lake credit. They've got that interior snuffed out right now against the Eagan Wildcats.
Well, they do, and in part because the Wildcats have not been able to effectively attack the perimeter. Evans, whether it's Evans, Gage, George Anderson, whoever it is, being able to attack the perimeter is going to be a key to be able to loosen that up in the middle.
Second and long, Eagan Wildcats. We are in the second quarter, by the way. 8:01 to go in the half. Evans squirms his way forward. He's going to set up third and short. Good call, good read that time by the Eagan sophomore.
He did a nice job there. Watch this. This is good decision making. And look at that cutback. You see how he starts to the right, then he comes back to the left. That's the cutback I was talking about earlier on the fourth down play. If you block it up correctly and you give him a cutback lane, Brooklyn Evans will dagger you. He will beat you, but the line's got to give him that play.
Third and a long one for the Wildcats at midfield. Besides 7.5 to go in the opening half. Evans loses the football. It's going to be fourth and short. Evans recovers it as well. That's four times.
It's been on the turf. That's about 4 times too many. Evans at least does a good job of getting on the ball. Again, you wonder if that has something to do with the fact we've got some different players out there on the offensive line. I do not see.
Cole Meyer is still your center, and he and Evans have worked together for, this is their third game together. Fourth and short. First down, Eagan Wildcats. Just following Meyer that time was Evans.
I have to admit, the Wildcats made that look really easy.
They did.
Holy cow. I'm not sure if they snapped that ball a half count early to let Evans, because sometimes that center, he'll cheat on a quarterback sneak because he knows it's going to be a quarterback sneak, so he'll snap that, so he'll even wait for the quarterback to, so if you're going on two, it'll say hut. After that first hut, he'll sometimes snap it early just to freeze everybody else.
Starting to fire up a little bit are the Eagan cheerleaders. Ball, fifth time on the turf. Third time the Cats have lost the football. Who is this team in blue?
Well, it's a team that's not taking care of the football. Now to be fair, there are two football teams out there. Let's see if we can figure out. Oh, that's just a great. No, you know what? That's just a great play by 53. That's a great play. Let me find my roster. It's a little dark up here in the press box. But that's O'Connell. O'Connell comes from over the right guard, penetrates, strips that ball out as the mesh point is occurring. Again, the Wildcats have got to protect the football, but to be fair, that was a great individual play by O'Connell.
So from their own 49 with 6:08 to go here in the half. 5 times the Eagan Wildcats have put the football on the turf. Patzer gets about 8, and you saw Kruger trying to strip that ball out. And it's very quiet on the home side in Wildcat country right now.
I'm utterly confused as to why the Wildcats are putting the ball on the turf. Insofar as, look, the Rangers are making some good plays, but right now the Wildcats are starting to look like the Wildcats that got beat to the outside against several teams this year. They've got to cover the outside, those perimeters. They've got to attack line of scrimmage.
Forest Lake, plenty of options here on a second about 4. Keenan Wilson gets in there on the stop for the Wildcats. His height had nowhere to go. Jerry Tella also coming up for the Eagan Wildcats, 28.
This is about bad a script as you could write if you're the Wildcats for Coach Nick Johnson. I mean, at least they're not down by 3 scores yet. But, you know, this is a situation where the Wildcats have got to find a way to rally, get this ball back, stop the Rangers from scoring here on this drive, get the ball back, and just get into halftime and reset.
You saw Height, he's getting a breather on the bench. Getting inside 5 minutes to go, opening half. Forest Lake looking to take advantage of another Wildcat turnover. And a nice job of it right there. Again, Patzer on 3rd and about 5. Gets down to the 30-yard line. That's a 14-yard pickup. And more importantly for Forest Lake, that will move the chains.
A nice, good interior blocking that time by the Rangers. You almost get a sense that maybe the Eagan defensive line's just getting outmanned. I don't know if it's that I wouldn't say they have enough. It's not. I don't know if it's the number of bodies or if it's the technique. But right now they're just being outmanned, and that's not something we've seen a lot of this year for the Wildcats.
Sending a man in motion. Actually, they're going to bring it back near side. And down close to a first down that time is number 40, Emmett Hauer. He's had a couple of nice blocks so far, and that's his first carry of the night. And that's going to be enough to not quite move the sticks, but a nice job of cutting back. Kruger, Iacker in there for the Wildcats. 8 yards that carry.
With few exceptions, if you follow the guards in this offense right now, it's leading you to the play. That time there was a guard pulling and moving to the outside, and when that happens, again, there are there have been a couple of exceptions early in the half for the Rangers, but the Wildcats have got to follow those guards because it's going to take you right to where the ball's going to go.
Looking to get in the red zone for the 3rd time tonight. Sending Johnson in motion. Patzer straight ahead. That'll be a first down inside the 20. Again, just following the blockers. Andrew Kiesk, one of the first ones, or Klesk, I should say, one of the captains, leading the way, big number 69. Yeah, just run behind that big boy for a while. That's going to get you a couple of yards probably every time.
Right now, the Rangers are really leaning on the Wildcats, and if you're the Rangers, you definitely want to get another score here and really try to do something to salt this. I don't want to say salt it away, but a 3-score lead at halftime versus 2 scores. There's a huge mental difference between the two.
By the way, Forest Lake gets the ball to start the second half. Nice job coming through. Got to be Keenan Wilson, and indeed, it is. 55 in blue. I don't want to give Keenan credit. He's been dealing with some of the crud this week that's going around. Nick Johnson was telling us before the game, a little concerned about, how good is Keenan going to be tonight. Yeah, he's just fine.
Watch this. He falls down. He's on his knees. He makes the tackle while he's on his knees. That's fast. That's a quick reaction. That's a competitor. That's somebody who understands this could be your last game as a senior, and you want to make the most of it.
Run it near side. Height. Down to the 13-yard line. Oh, I should say Hoyt, not Height. Weston Hoyt. So it's going to be, that's about a 7-yard pickup as we're inside 2 minutes to go in the opening half.
You can hear the Wildcat coaching staff talking about holding, and wow, Keenan Wilson, whoever was blocking Keenan Wilson had a big handful of a jersey. But it's up to the defensive line to sell that and make sure that they're being seen doing that. But
you and I have done enough Eagan games this year. That's about the only way you slow down Keenan.
Usually it is.
3rd and short. First down, Forest Lake inside the 10. Again, a great surge by that Forest Lake group up front. Austin Selly, tight end, 82. We haven't talked Tim's name yet tonight, but he was in there as well. A little bit after the fact, more so, but Mason Stebleton was in there, 59. That clock continued. Oh, they're going to say 4th. No, it is first down.
First and goal.
It is first and goal.
First and goal from about the 9.5.
Yeah, I looked onto our graphic. We had 4th, so minor detail. Pitch. Height. We got a block. Ratcher couldn't get him. Beautiful job. Rockford coming up. Started things off. Kruger in there to help finish him off. Kruger's slow to get up, but he will. Rockford is in there.
It's a big
Dean and
block.
Wilson in there.
Sorry, Mike Cook. There's a big block at the point of attack. Forest Lake coaches up here in the booth really excited about it. Why wouldn't you be? It was a heck of a block. Not sure if we're going to get a replay on that one or not, but in any event, it's a loss for the Rangers.
3, yep. This clock continues to tick down. Does Forest Lake go for the air? They are. They're going to throw it back, and that ball is almost intercepted. Gugino had a shot at it. Iacker tipped it initially. Nice job by the Eagan defense to stay with that play.
Well, that's the kind of thing. Watch this plays. Sider's going to roll it to his right and throw back to his left. Gugino was all over him. Iacker had dropped nicely into coverage. And smartly, I think the Rangers are going to take a timeout here.
Oh, yeah.
They've got plenty of time. Well, they've got 12 seconds. But they've got 3 timeouts, at least until now. And it's like you can't take those into the halftime with you, so you might as well use them now.
Yeah, Zidler, I don't think he was expecting to see Iacker back there for the Wildcats.
Well, it's Sam Iacker's had such a great year of dropping into coverage and making interceptions when they're necessary. And this is gut check time for the Wildcats. You don't want to be over dramatic. I mean, there's still a half of football to play, and kids being what they are, the Rangers are just as likely or just as able to put the ball on the turf 5 times as the Wildcats can in the second half. Who knows? But huge stop here for the Wildcats if they can somehow keep the Rangers out of the end zone.
Eagan student section, the pit. The place is full tonight. Those guys are rocking. Again, it's colored by grade. Blue is senior, green is junior. If you're wearing white, that means you're a sophomore or a freshman. Also means you're in the back row of the pit. You've got to earn your way to the front, I believe.
Yeah. Everybody is jealous of the seniors because they get to wear the blue.
Well, right now they need the boys in blue to make a stop out on the field if you're an Eagan fan.
If I were the Wildcats, I might call a timeout here. They've got 2 left as well.
Hoyt is lined up one-on-one on the bottom of your screen. They're not going to go that way. They're going to go far side. They got a man in the corner. Did he get the toe drag? Jake Johnson, touchdown! What a toe drag. And you can hear the Forest Lake coaches up here.
That's a great catch in the corner of the end zone. No pressure. He heaves it up.
Oh, wow. Got that right toe down, I think. I don't know if we got another look at that, but
we'll have to go back and look at that one maybe at halftime, but that's just enormous.
Yep. PAT attempt upcoming. It is now 20-0 Forest Lake. That silence you hear is the Eagan fans.
Well, it's one thing to be losing, but it's another thing to be shooting yourself in the foot, right, Mike? I mean, it's one thing to say, hey, we're gonna let the other team get a lead, or the other team's got good players too, but to put the ball on the turf 5 times, lose 3 of them, it's just not something that you would expect out of this football team. And it's not something you'd expect at this level.
And that's not coaching. That's just simply the players not executing.
Well, and like I said, it's the Rangers are also, to their credit, are making some great plays.
Oh, 100%.
We're going to do our best to see if we can dial it back and see if we can get another replay of the touchdown.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of people in the booth asking about that one.
I mean, it's going to be, watch the right foot. You can't quite tell.
No, there's somebody in the way on that one.
There
That's unlucky. That's just unlucky.
I think it's the original angle we're going to have to see it from. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see it there. I'll give the officials credit, though. I mean, they got together, made the call.
Yeah, they did. They made sure. They huddled.
So we'll see if Eisen can get another nice return for the Wildcats. And it's not going to be his opportunity. George Anderson has it. And he'll get out near the 25-yard line. Well, I think as everyone predicted, a very one-sided first half. He said sarcastically.
No, absolutely. I don't think anybody, I'm sure both teams wanted a one-sided first half. I don't think either team expected it, to be honest with you. And I also don't think that either team looks at this game as being over. I mean, if I tell you right now, if the Rangers come out in the second half and they think this game's going to be over, the Wildcats will climb back into this football game. the Rangers keep their foot on the gas and really take it away from the Wildcats, then bully for them.
Well, we're going to find out what Forest Lake does. They're going to get the ball first when we come back for second half action. Right now it's halftime, where it's the Forest Lake Rangers. I think I said Lakers again. The Rangers 20, the Eagan Wildcats nothing. Nathan and I will be back. We're going to learn that it's Rangers, Rangers, Rangers. It's halftime. We'll see you shortly. Hey, welcome back inside Wildcat country, where you look at the Forest Lake Rangers. They are up by a 20-0 count on to the Eagan Wildcats. The Eagan Wildcats put the ball on the turf 5 times in that opening half, lost it 3 times. Each time Forest Lake went down, put 6 on the board. Once again, Mike Cook with you. Happy to be joined again by Nathan Cron. And Nathan, Eagan's going to come out. They've got to find something offensively here early in this third quarter.
Well, they've got to find something early offensively. They've also got to find something defensively, Mike Cook. The Forest Lake Rangers have done, and now they've had 2 relatively, one real short field and then one shorter field. They've only driven on the Wildcats really once, full distance, after the Wildcats fumbled in Ranger territory. But the reality of it is the defense has got to find a way to slow down that Ranger offense. I suspect, and I'm going to go on a limb here, but I think the Wildcat offense is going to turn it on in this second half. They're going to get yards. I think they're going to put points on the board. The question in my mind is, can the guys in blue on the defensive side of the ball, can they slow down this Ranger offense to the point where the Wildcat offense is going to be able to run them back into this game?
I think that's absolutely going to be the case, and Forest Lake is going to get the football first when we get back to action. But, we want to make sure we've done Eagan games, all but 2 of them this year, and we got to make sure we give a lot of shout-outs. It's been a great crew this year here in Wildcat country, and I'll let you mention some of the folks that are, again, helping us out tonight.
Yeah, tonight we've got Josh Shibley, Greg Borman, Kevin Miller, Sarah Paulus, Ken Trainer, and Nick Mudd. It's an all-star crew. Got a bunch of other people that have helped us all year round, but Mike Cook, you and I have got the easy jobs, up here talking in the booth and doing the work on this end of it, but the people running the truck, the people on the cameras, the people, doing the replay, producing, putting it all together. And, of course, don't forget, it takes an effort from these people just to bring you the games, all right? Because these are the Minnesota State High School League playoffs. You got to get special permissions. You got to jump through hoops. You got to donate blood. You got to give fingerprints. I mean, all sorts of things. Absolutely. But the reality of it is that for us to be able to bring you this game, both for the folks at Forest Lake as well as the people here in Eagan, it takes a crew. It takes a lot of hard work, and we're really appreciative of our crew and what ETV does for us.
Takes a village.
I did want to say that.
Oh, you wanted to.
No, I didn't. I really didn't want to say that, but you did anyway.
Yeah, we've done that enough. And we want to mention too, it's, the EHS, the ladder crew, the booster club, all those folks have done a tremendous job all year. And, for example, tonight, short notice, Finer Fruit Truck is here. Habanero Tacos is here. Again, part of that Friday Night Lights festivities we've had all year in Wildcat country. Brick Oven Bust, they've been here a lot. I've heard requests for them, again, an Eagan-based company. And want to give a special thank you to Shirtworks. It's an Eagan-based company. They made 300 playoff shirts, basically for team personnel and the booster club and whatnot. Did them on short notice, got them done a day early, and well within the cost that the ladder crew was able to provide. So you need something customized, Shirtworks in Eagan, be sure to check them out. Again, I know the ladder crew wants to make sure we give a big thank you to them, as well as all of our sponsors this year, part of Eagan football, that are, happy to be with us, again, throughout the year. Again, Forest Lake going to get the football to start this half. And again, by the way, the winner of this game, they're going to get Maple Grove next Friday night up in the Northwest Metro. Like I said, gosh forbid Maple Grove were to lose to Hopkins tonight. So, yeah, that'd probably not happening.
Well, I'm always cheering for the underdog, Mike Cook. Being an Eagan football guy, we've had our share of underdogs, but the reality of it is I cheer for the Royals, but realistically, it's going to be a visit for one of these 2 teams up to Maple Grove. Yep. And honestly, right now, it looks like it's going to be the Rangers.
Absolutely.
But the Wildcats have one half of football, 24 minutes to turn this around and make this a football game. And I think they're going to do it, Mike. I think they're going to make it a football game.
Well, we're going to find out as Jack Hansen is to kick the football for the first time tonight. And that ball is going to go out of bounds. He hooked that one badly. And Forest Lake going to start at about their own 35-yard line. That doesn't help your cause.
Well, it's not effective. I was a little surprised that the Wildcats maybe could have come out with a little bit of trickeration there in the opening kickoff. But kicking it deep, I got no problem with kicking it deep. I would like to see that ball not go out of bounds, however.
Correct.
Well, let's see if the Wildcat coaching staff has done something here at halftime that's going to give them a better opportunity to compete. So that Forest Lake offense was just too much for them in the first half.
And it's not just one guy. It's all over. And we'll start by going almost straight ahead. Get about 6 yards that time. Again, their bell cow, Leighton Patzer, number 8, gets out near the 40, about the 41-yard line. So a 6-yard pickup right away for Forest Lake.
Well, we were talking to Coach Bisto before the game, and I asked him if he's got a bell cow, and he said, nah, kind of would like to stay away from that, but the way that Pitzer's running, you just keep giving him the football.
Absolutely. Second and about 4 for Forest Lake. You look at it there, they're taking a long time to get this play off, and I would expect to see that a lot here in the second half. Loose football, and quickly jumped on by your quarterback, number 18, Keegan Zidler, I should say, or Zeidler, I think.
Zeidler. Let's go with Zeidler.
I think it is Zeidler, and I think I've been saying Zidler, and I apologize for that. We were told Zeidler. I wrote it down as Zeidler, and I just messed up.
We're doing our best. We're doing our best. But here's what's interesting. That senior quarterback I think he just took his eyes off the ball there.
I think he did
because that ball hit him right in the chest pad, off his shoulder. I mean, that wasn't a bad snap.
Big stop opportunity for the Cats. 3rd and 12, Forest Lake. You would think they'll go to the air. Good pressure by the Cats. Downfield into triple coverage. That ball is caught by Johnson, but it's going to be about 2 yards shy of the first down. So Coach Bisco, let's see what he chooses to do. But you talk about being able to put a ball on a dime.
Wow.
Liren was there.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a lot of traffic. That's a young man with a lot of confidence to be able to sling it into that much traffic. This is 4th and 2.
Forest Lake taking plenty of time.
I got to level with you. I'd punt this football. I'd punt this football and make the Wildcats go drive all the way down and beat me.
I agree with this call. I think you get the first down here. I mean, the Cats are down 3 scores.
That's a good point. But
and the other thing is you can maybe try to draw Eagan off. And then you take a timeout, which is going to happen right there.
Yeah. No, honestly, well, again, look, the Wildcat defense has had its struggles tonight. That's true, but this is a great opportunity for them to step up. If they get this stop and turn over the Rangers on downs, they're going to get it in Forest Lake territory with a short field.
Correct.
If you're the Rangers, do you want to take that chance? Do you want to give the Wildcats potentially a short field? Because then it puts them right back in this football game. Versus if you punt and you get a 3 and out on the other end, now suddenly you're out of the danger zone, right?
Yeah, there is that. Yep, there's that argument as well.
I mean, I have no doubt the Rangers can get 2 yards. They can get 2 yards. The question is, will they, on this particular play, get at least 2 yards?
Yeah, to me, you got to put the hammer down. But, again, that's why we're up here. As they crank a little Hall & Oates.
Well, the offense is coming onto the field, so they're going to go for it.
I don't know what it means, but the song they were playing was "You Make My Dreams Come True."
And Eagan's got an uncovered slot back on the far side. I'm not sure why we've got an uncovered slot back.
4th and 2.
He's short.
10, Eagan.
He did not make it. He did not make it.
Forest Lake they are definitely short on that. It's going to be Patzer. He needed 2. He got 1.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, there's no need for a measurement on that one.
Huge stop by Iacker. Will is in there. I couldn't even pick out some of the other names, but it looked promising for the Lakers. Excuse me, Rangers. Got it. Now you got me doing it, and
We've been both doing it.
Oh, my heavens.
Bottom line, Eagan's going to have the football at the Forest Lake 44-yard line.
Exactly what the Wildcats needed.
9:38 to go here, quarter 3. Cats down by 3 scores. Can they get some momentum on this drive? That's a nice start. Tonsauger is going to get them 9. I would imagine Landon Tonsauger is going to see this football 75% of the time, 80% of the time, most of the way.
Something like that. Something like that as Anderson's going to sneak off the field here with a little bit of a tweak.
Well, he had a nice block downfield, was Anderson. Watch on the Kicked his man out. Let Tonsarger get that extra couple of yards.
Wildcats don't have to worry about the clock. They don't have to worry about anything other than getting a first down, getting a touchdown on this drive.
Evans under center. Fumble again. Evans picks it up. Nothing happened that time. Mills in there quickly for Forest Lake. Time number 6. The football is on the turf.
If the Wildcats manage to come back and win this football game, it is going to be an absolute miracle statistically. There's no way you can fumble 6 times, lose 3 of them so far, and win football games at any level, much less at 6A in the playoffs. Wildcats have got to clean that up. There's just no excuse at this point in the season for that kind of stuff.
3rd and 2. 4-down territory. Tonsarger. First down Eagan. First, got to make sure we give a shout out to Team Tonsarger checking us out in the Chicago area. Connor's watching with his bride-to-be Amanda. Congratulations on your upcoming nuptials in July of next year. July 18th, we've been told is the date. Grandpa Foley checking us out as well. Thanks, you guys. I know you guys have been with us all year. We greatly appreciate it. Much a part of that Tonsarger clan. First set of downs. Evans keeps. Gets down to about the 30. Minimal pickup that time. 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, call it. I was going to say call it 4. Call it a short 4 or a long 3, but I like the play call for the offense, though, to stay on schedule, right? Brooklyn Evans gets 3 to 4 yards on first down, sets up a makeable second down, sets up a makeable third. Just keep getting yards, keep moving this forward. A touchdown on this drive helps flip this game into a competitive column.
By the way, Zach Rutschke's in at left tackle. I believe he's been in since Hannah went out back in the opening half. It's 3rd and about 3 upcoming for the Cats. Tonsarger gets a little bit more that time for the Wildcats. We'll give him 4 as well after Evans got 4. We'll call it 3rd and 2 as we approach 5 minutes gone by in the second half. Still 20-0 Rangers in this Class 6A round of 32 game. Cats got away with a false start there. Evans gets dropped by Colby Christensen. And now it's going to be 4th and, I don't know, they lose 3 on that. So
4th and 4 maybe.
Cats might have been better to get that 5-yard penalty on
absolutely.
on the missed call by the official.
Yeah, it looked like the left guard had left early, and that's something they cannot do here on 4th down. On 4th down, everything's going to have to be perfect. Again, don't worry about anything else. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 yards. Get 5, and live to fight another set of downs.
Huge play for the Eagan Wildcats. We're midway through that 3rd quarter. Evans, Anderson cuts it up. First down, Eagan Wildcats. And he hangs onto the football. In at the edge of the red zone, not quite in. 8 yards by Anderson, and it's first down, Eagan Wildcats.
Good blocking by Tonsarger at the point of attack. Look at Adrian Moses down the field in Hoyt's face. Nicely done that time by the Wildcats. 1 or 2 missed tackles there by the Rangers.
Yep.
Uncharacteristic for them.
That's the exact word I was going to use. Here's Anderson in motion. Tonsarger. 3 of the keeps, he's still going strong. And they're going to say he's down at the 16-yard line. 4 yards for number 8.
I'll say this: if I'm number 8, I want the ball as much as I can. I'm a senior. If this is to be my last game, I want the opportunity to drive this ball at the Rangers as much as I can. Rangers kind of need a stop here, Mike Cook.
Yes, they do. 2nd and 4. This drive has taken over 4 minutes. Tonsarger. Who's that first man up off the bottom of the pile? That's Mills, number 44 in white. He's been in on a lot of stops tonight. Tonsarger gets up. He's taking a pretty good beating out there tonight for this Eagan Wildcat squad.
Well, at some point the Wildcats are going to have to attack the perimeter. Mike, they're going to have to do something to get to the outside where Now, the true option just hasn't been really working. I should say, hasn't been super reliable. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. Let's see what the Wildcats can dial up here on third down.
They need 2. Actually, they need about 3. And it's going to be fourth down again for the Wildcats. Forest Lake all over the Wildcat ball carrier. And again, it's Tonsauger coming up off the bottom of the pile. And Colwell loses his helmet, so he's got to come out for a play. Boy, he just ran. I think it was Rendell. Mark Rendell, number 5. They were telling us before the game, Coach Biscoe said Rendell is being looked at by a lot of schools. I think he was up visiting North Dakota last weekend among those that are looking at him. But he is just a junior. Cats need to get to the 10. To the air, to the end zone. It is incomplete. Huseman, the intended target. Forest Lake holds.
It wasn't a bad play call. It actually wasn't bad execution. Evans doesn't quite step into this, but it's just off the fingertips for Huseman. And Huseman's a big, tall target. That wasn't a bad play. You feel bad for Huseman. You feel bad for Evans that they did everything they could do there to execute and get that done the way they needed to. And it's a turnover on downs for the Wildcats.
So Forest Lake to take over with 4:04 to go, third quarter. They're up by a 20-0 count from their own 14. Cats a little shift on that defensive line. Strope and Wilson each move over. And minimal pickup that time as Patzer just plows straight ahead. Caden Tonsauger in among others on the stop. Rockford in there as well for the Wildcats. Both of those guys are seniors on this squad. Josh Learen, 52 in there.
I thought there was about a 2-yard game, but Patzer actually did a nice job of grinding that out for another almost 4 yards.
Yeah, I like this kid. Again, shifting on that line for the Wildcats. There's Hoyt the other way. Lowers his head. Gets out to the 20, picks up 1, maybe 2 yards that time. We'll give him 1.
The Wildcats did a good job of keeping Hoyt pinned to the inside and taking away that cutback. But that time, if Hoyt had gotten to the outside, he'd still be running, but they did a nice job of turning that play back in. Now, again, we're running out of.
Again, that clock, though, does continue to tick as we're inside 3 to go in the third. Cats not only got to make a stop and another stop and another stop, they got to get 3 touchdowns.
Well, they got to get 1 before they can get
exactly.
3.
Coming the other way, straight ahead, look out, lots of room. This is Hauer, finally caught down at the Wildcat 25-yard line. That is a gain of 56 yards.
This is good blocking at the point of attack. Again, follow the guards. We said that in the second quarter. You follow the guards. He switches hands for ball security. Doesn't quite have the ability to get away from Gugino and Caden Tonsauger, but if you're the Wildcats, that's absolutely could be the backbreaker here.
Gugino, nice job of punching at that football, looking to make something happen. But yeah, I agree. That might be the proverbial nail in the coffin. You get a touchdown here, and yeah. Hoyt looking for some room. Okay, drags a man for about 3 yards. That was Jerry Tella with the stop for the Wildcats. If Cats cannot let Forest Lake get a touchdown, a field goal, it's still a 3-score game for the Eternal Optimist.
Wildcats need some sort of momentum change. They've got to either create a turnover or get a stop or turnover on downs.
Plenty of clock milking going on as well by Forest Lake. Wise clock milking. Yeah, and that's always a good call, too, as you give it to number 8, Patzer. Why did I say Ratzer? Patzer. first down, Forest Lake.
The Wildcats are getting outmanned at the point of attack, Mike Cook. They're getting beaten in the trenches, and that's contra to what this defense has done over the last handful of weeks. They've been either they've been dominant in the trenches or they've at least been the equal. But right now the Forest Lake offensive line is really laying it to them, and it's a numbers game. It's just there's too many blockers and not enough guys taking them up.
Hoyt outside. Hoyt. They're not Hoyt. Check that. That's not Hoyt. That's number 4, Reed Olson. I think that's his first carry of the ball game. No, 6. Yeah, it was Hoyt. I saw 4 down. Okay. It was Hoyt.
In any event,
I apologize.
Good blocking there to the outside. Tonsager just could not keep that outside shoulder free. And Hoyt slips to the outside, and if you're the Wildcats, I wouldn't mind calling a defensive timeout here and just settle everybody down.
Yep. First and goal. Dagger in hand for Forest Lake. Dagger done. Seidler from the 2.
Wildcats brought pressure, but they picked the wrong gap. Zeidler looked like he went between the left guard and the left tackle, was untouched almost all the way into the end zone. Watch him, he's going to come here. There's a pull. Actually, it might have been a pull and a kick out too, but in any event, he's untouched. The Wildcats did bring pressure, to their credit, but they just brought it in the wrong place. They guessed wrong that time.
So 38 seconds to go in the third quarter. It is now 27-0 Forest Lake.
It's a bitter pill for seniors to swallow that this is likely going to be your last game here at Eagan Stadium. Positives is you had a good season. Negatives is this is just not the way to go out. I mean, again, you look at the Forest Lake Rangers, they're having a great time. Yep. They're excited. They should be. Their team has played really well tonight. If you're on the other side, though, you're thinking to yourself, this is not the team that we've seen over the last handful of weeks. This is not the same team that showed up against Shakopee, protected the football, and ground down the Sabres.
You know, and everybody we talked to said the Wildcats, really good week of practice after that Shakopee game. Getting a little more healthy. Really looking forward to this football game. And, you know, you look at that early fumble 3 plays in. 3 plays later, Forest Lake's in the end zone, and it's 7-0. Barely 2 minutes into this football game. Cats have just never recovered.
No, so coaches used to say to me that, you know, the football is the program. It's the hopes and the dreams of the entire program. It's the history of the program, the future of the program. That football is the most important thing, the most important thing there is, and the Wildcats have not taken care of it tonight.
Nope. Ison's had a couple of nice returns. Can he get another one here? Out across the 20. He finds a little bit of a seam. Still a nice return by Ison. Gets out to about the 30-yard line. One of the few bright spots tonight for this Eagan Wildcat team has been Madden Ison. Well, if you're the Eagan Wildcats, you got to go to the air. Not the strength of this team.
Not the strength of this team, but they've got to get chunks. I'll say it this way, Mike. They've got to get chunks of yardage, whether that's on the ground or the air. Doesn't even matter at this point.
Nope. And they'll just run it that time as what should be the final play of quarter number 3. 27 rip Forest Lake.
As we said before, bottom line, if you're in blue and silver, get one. Right? Just get on the board. Just get on the board at this point, okay? Regardless regardless of where the result of the game is going to be, regardless of what's going to happen, just get on the board. Give yourself an opportunity to finish strong. Win the fourth quarter. I mean, let's set a makeable goal. Just win the fourth quarter at this point, right?
Yep. Hey, just want to mention last night there was a pasta dinner that was put on by the senior squad after practice. Great meal obviously had by all, but every Wildcat football player got their very own player pack. 3rd straight year with the package available of player-only wearables. They got climb the ladder themed sweatshirt, joggers, a winter cap, And I think the neat thing was that was picked by the captains. I heard they initially wanted to do the Wildcat head, but that's like a K-State logo, and there's some kind of a fee involved. But again, they also got a 4 wins in a row playoff T-shirt, as did others involved with the program. So gold card sales, ladder crew fundraising, all help contribute to the funds that were used to pay for those. And of course you got to mention the pit. They're still here, but so much community support this year here in Wildcat Country. We've had really, really good crowds. You had, the Eagan Fire Department again comes out with the ladder truck for the Climb the Ladder poster. Chief New and the Eagan Police were here at the end of the summer, Cops versus the Cats. Almost 3 dozen business partners around the community, all part of this Eagan Wildcat program. And again, you can't thank all of them enough for what they've done for the Wildcats this year. And again, an 8-yard run for Tonsager, number 8. About a 2-yard pickup.
And as much as you want to keep giving it to Tonsager and give him an opportunity as a senior to play it, one of the challenges for these Wildcats is right now they're just, and most of the game, they've been so one-dimensional.
Yep. And it's going to be 4th down Wildcats. They're going to be just short.
I mean, they've become so one-dimensional when the outside pitch game, when that outside option game is not viable because the blocking's not there, or because you can't maintain pitch relationship, or because you're not whatever it is. It creates this one-dimensional kind of focus. And look at all the yellow hats. Look at all the yellow helmets. You see there, it's 4th down and short, 4th and 1. But look at all those yellow hats packed in tight.
I'm looking at all the people in the Forest Lake stands that are standing. Evans keeps. Evans. Boy, I think he got it. Just barely. He got popped, though, at the end of that play.
Credit to Brooklyn Evans for being just shifty enough. It wasn't pretty, but watch him as he comes to the right side of your screen. Nice form tackle that time by the Rangers.
Yeah, that was Aho.
It was Aho with a nice form tackle, wrapped with the arms, nicely done. But not before Evans is able to get a first down, and necessary first down for these Wildcats. Keep this ball. Let's get down. If you're in Blue Silver, let's get down and score one. Let's see what happens.
Yep. Eisen maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe actually gets about half a yard. Another slow developing play, however, for the Eagan Wildcats.
Too much
and a nice job by Forest Lake to snuff that out.
Yeah, too much penetration there at the back. 92 is penetrating. Aho's holding his edge. I think if Anderson gets around to the corner, he's got an opportunity.
Minimal gain. 8 gets about, we'll give him 5 that time for Tonsager. Nice job, second, third effort by the senior. Playing his final game as an Eagan Wildcat. And it's going to be 4th down Eagan at midfield. Tonsager, a very beat up, sore young man.
The offensive line's got to carve something open here. They've got to if there's a push and a cutback, they've got to do that. They've got to maintain that. Or alternatively, if this is a situation where Evans is going to step up and try to hit somebody like oh God, I'm blanking now. Huseman or McGivern.
Yep.
Huseman had just about had it earlier. Maybe you go back to him here.
There's McGivern on the bottom of your screen. Eisen, the deep back. Eisen, first down, stays on his feet. Madden Eisen, can he go the distance? Down to the 5-yard line. Madden Eisen on 4th down. Nice job. Nice kick out block on the far side by Tonsager, and that sprung him.
Absolutely.
And he's going to be punched out of bounds. They're going to say at the 4 it looks like, in which case that was a 48-yard pickup. Cats, to get in, they are going to be just shy That was a 48-yard run by Eisen.
Well, and Eisen, and forgive me,
I was
Mike.
going to say, go ahead, then we got 3 more right there.
I was going to say, Eisen might be one of those players who's auditioning, for next year, right? I mean, maybe there's a situation where he's going to be getting a lot of playing time next year for these Wildcats.
Evans, Tonsauger. Evans got it. 6 points. Eagan. Myself and the Forest Lake defense all bit. Evans, nobody with him.
Well, it was a safe bet. If you're the Rangers, why not key on number 8, right? I mean, why not key on the guy who's been the bread and butter for the Wildcats here for the most of this football game?
Jack Hansen up and good. Eagan Wildcats on the board finally with 7:51 to go. I'll say it, in regulation.
That is what is known, Mike Cook, as the commentator's curse, right?
You and I have done these Eagan games long enough. You got to hold out hope, right?
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. Hey, there's a reason we play 4 12-minute quarters, right? And it's because you got to play to the last second. I don't know. Ask Shakopee Sabres what it means to play to the last second from last week, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you get beat on a last-second walk-off field goal. Ask the Burnsville Blaze last year how it feels to get beat as times walk-off field goal. So, I mean, you got to play to the end. Now, the difference here is that the Rangers have got a 3-touchdown lead.
Yeah. And they've been able to pretty much do what they want on offense tonight.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see here. I mean, if you're the Rangers, you got to load the hands team out there, obviously.
Oh, no question.
If you don't have the hands team out, it's coaching malpractice. But
the hands team. Well, you saw the cheerleaders. Sorry to interrupt you. You better have the hands team right there too.
Yeah,
it's the girl up, down, up, back, pendulum. Anyway, sorry to interrupt, but I agree with what you're saying.
No, absolutely, and we're gonna have the hands team here for the Rangers. It's Hoyt and Petzer and Johnson, and it's a cast of many. I'll say it that way. And they're loading up everybody up close, and I think that's the smart play. I think that's what you got to do.
Well, which way does Hansen go with it? It's got to go at least 10 yards. And that ball, I'm not sure the ball's even going to go 10 yards. Yeah, went 9 yards. So Forest Lake to take over just on the Eagan side of midfield. You can hear some of the Forest Lake coaches are screaming about, hey, let it go 10 yards, let it go.
So it's going to be a false start on the Wildcats. I think they're going to get 5 yards. Yeah, I think the Rangers are going to get 5 yards here from. Nope, they're going to decline the penalty.
Yeah.
Decline the penalty.
Absolutely.
Yep. They don't get to tack it on to the return. I thought they maybe got to tack it on the return.
So up by 20. Forest Lake looking to put a little more distance between them and the Wildcats. Well, that's a good start right there. If your quarterback, Keegan Zeidler, can move down to the 32-yard line. Forest Lake's got a man slow to get up back at midfield. Trying to see one of their linemen. I believe it's Wes Morris.
He got stepped. I think he got stepped on. He got knocked down, but I think he may have gotten stepped on. But again, you got pulling linemen for the Rangers. And I mean, again, how many times do I have to say it? Well, follow them, and you're gonna get to the ball. That's where Zeidler went. He followed the pulling linemen. So if you're the Wildcats right now, that's wherever those linemen go. That's where you got to be crashing. And again, regardless of what this result's going to end up looking like, you want to play to the whistle and you want to play to the end of the game.
Again, I want to make sure we thank our sponsors again. From the Eagan Wildcat, Cooper's Tap House, Kitchen and Rail, Wyatt's Twisted Americana, Tavern 13. Of course, you can play pull tabs in any of those places. Benefit for Eagan football. Domino's, the official pizza. Jersey Mike's, the official sandwich shop. And again, probably close to 36 other businesses. Everything from Reliable Insurance, Escape With Us Travel, Summit Orthopedics, Eagan Arms, the Urgency Room, Chick-fil-A, TCO Training House, Affinity Plus Credit Union. The defense chant from the pit. Yes, Forest Lake 1st and 10. Again, taking all the time they can before they have to snap the football. And that's going to be close to another first down for the I did it again. The Rangers. Why do I want to say Lakers?
I'm doing the same thing. I'm not sure why, but again, look at that pulling lineman. Pulling lineman leads you right to the hole. So at this point, the Wildcats have not done a lot of pressure. They have not this year. Mike Cook, they haven't brought a lot of extra guys flying in, but now's the time to bring it, right? I mean, look, you're down by 3 scores. You got to stop these guys. You got to force a turnover. You got to do something. You got to be bringing the house and following wherever those guys are pulling. That's where you go. Oh, we got a false start.
Yep, they did catch that one.
Yeah.
By the way, good to see that man back in. That was Morris, I believe.
Yeah, it was Morris. Extra push-ups for him on next Monday at practice, because that's always a bit embarrassing when you're the only offensive lineman to move. When everybody moves, then you feel like the quarterback screwed up. But when you're the guy in space, well, it's just a little bit.
Well, for that young man, he was the one that was out with the injury.
He was. So he's back on the field. Absolutely.
Infraction.
And
you know what? Hey, let's give him and that offensive line some credit, though, tonight.
Absolutely.
You know, one penalty is not going to disrupt what that group of 5 plus has done tonight.
No, they played an excellent
Forest Lake squad.
You're right, Mike. They played an excellent football game, and they've won the battle in the trenches, and that's what it takes to win football games in the playoffs.
2nd and 6. Ball pops up. Falling on the football that time was Zidler. Well, Forest Lake's going to find times to kind of a little loosey-goosey with the football. A 3-score lead with 6 minutes to go in regulation might be the time, but you never want to do it.
No, absolutely not. And now, I mean, the Forest Lake
timeout
Rangers
taken, by the way.
Yeah, timeout for the Wildcats to prevent Forest Lake from running down another 30 seconds or 40 seconds at game time. But the Wildcats have an opportunity here. It's 3rd and long. If they get a stop here, I'm not saying they're going to score 3 touchdowns and climb back into this game and win it, but if they get a stop here, we're going to have some competitive football, some exciting football for the Wildcats here coming up. If they don't get this stop, then it's time to start the bus, head back up to Forest Lake, and get ready for Maple Grove.
Oh, we got a second. I want to give a shout out to assistant coach Dave Comer. He's going to be retiring after this year. Long time, an Eagan assistant for quite a few years under NJ. Long time Lakeville football supporter. Matter of fact, Lakeville South, they have an award for him. You see him actually in the back of your screen there momentarily. That's Dale Comer, his son. He's the defensive coordinator here in Wildcat country. But, yep, Dave's going to hang up that whistle. And wants to said his grandkids are going to be high schoolers next year. And looking forward just to being a supporter. So congratulations on a wonderful career.
Wildcats need to dial up something here for 3rd and long.
Yeah, this was 2nd and about 1 at one time. Forest Lake content just to be smart with the football. See if Eagan has to take another timeout. Second charge timeout for the Eagan Wildcats. That was a gain of about 6, I think, that time. As they crank out a little Sweet Caroline over the PA system here in Wildcat country, and chance to take a few more sponsors this year. We had Valbridge, Great Clips, Southern Lights in Burnsville, Evo Fitness, Sam's Club.
Big 4th down here for the Wildcats.
Forest Lake's looking to draw the Wildcats off. And timeout taken by Forest Lake.
Yeah.
As we go back to Sweet Caroline.
Well, so I've said this before, and usually I'm wrong, right? Usually the teams come out and go for it, and something happens. But if you're the Forest Lake Rangers, it would be very helpful for you to pin the Wildcats deep here with a little squib punt or a coffin corner or whatever. Just execute your punt game, because next week you may need to execute your punt game to either pin the Maple Grove Crimson deep or to get out of your own end zone or whatever. I'm saying is executing on special teams is essential for playoff success, and the Rangers here have an opportunity to practice that in live time.
I'm sorry, you want a headset? Because Coach Brad Beaskow says that's exactly what we're going to do.
I'd love a headset, actually. but a little late for that in my
Adrian
career.
Moses, Jack Hansen, Keenan Wilson, they're not sure Forest Lake is going to actually kick this away. But indeed, Rangers, little pop-up kick. Cats got to stay out of the way. And that's going to be a net of about 15 yards.
But effective. I mean, and that's what you want. You want no return. You want the Wildcats are pinned. The Wildcats are just outside their own 20-yard line, which is not the end of the world. You know, again, the Wildcats haven't exactly gone the distance against you very often tonight. So I mean, again, play good defense, execute, do what you got to do here. And if you're the Wildcats, hey, let's stick another one in the end zone. Let's close this gap a little bit.
Not much of a gap there as Forest Lake quickly collapses on Tonsager, as we've seen, I don't know how many times tonight. Rendell again on the stop. I believe Sam Mills was in there as well for Forest Lake. We're going to say 2-run on that one, actually. Evans to throw. No chance. He was going. Anderson, coaches up here, not happy. Forest Lake coaches. Somebody had missed an assignment. I was looking for a flag. I don't see one.
Well, Anderson was running free. If Evans had put a little more air under that ball, Anderson was going to catch it, and if he had caught it, he'd still be running.
Yep.
So I think that's probably why there was consternation and constipation up here on that point.
3rd and 8. Brooklyn Evans coming back near side. That ball's caught out across the 40-yard line. Tate Gage, the reception for the Wildcats. And a nice job of almost kind of laying out that time by Tate.
A nice catch by Gage. Look at this. He beats the defensive back and then stretches for it. Nicely done by the young man.
Yeah, just a sophomore. Evans, he'll keep. Evans to midfield. 8-yard pickup by Evans.
Smart by Brooklyn Evans. I like that. That shows a little bit of maturity. He's, instead of trying to turn it up and maybe grind for another 2 yards, he makes sure he gets out of bounds, saves the clock, gives his team an opportunity to huddle, reset. I like that. That's something that I think Brooklyn Evans against Park might not have done.
Correct. Yeah, a little situational awareness. Easton. Barely almost cartwheeled his way up to finish that 7-yard run.
Easton out of that what looks like that I formation is really effective. Tonsager does a nice job of taking on the penetration.
Schwartz, among others, on the stop. And that's going to be a short pickup on the pass. Tonsager continues to get beat up. 3 yards on that. Cats running the hurry-up offense. Need to get to the 33 for a first down. Tonsager to the 36. Mills finished him off after Rendell first man in for Forest Lake. About a 4-yard pickup. Call it 3rd and about 3, maybe 4 for these Wildcats. Evans keeps it. And that'll be a first down to the 27-yard line. Nice job of kind of shifting his way down, picking up 8 that time.
Well, there was the cutback, right? Brooklyn Evans attacks the left, but then cuts back to the right after he clears the line. Nicely done.
Timeout taken on the field.
I think Evans spiked the ball, Mike.
Okay.
Because it was first down, so I think he spiked the ball. I figure he's got 3 plays to get 10 yards anyway.
You're right.
And again, regardless of the outcome of the game, the Wildcats, they definitely want to score here. Rangers, I think fair to say, Rangers don't want to give this one up. They want to keep the Wildcats out. This is take the scoreboard off, turn the scoreboard off, but it's compelling for the next 3:59.
Yep. I'll mention just a few more of our sponsors this year. Cup Foods, Denise Schoberg Realty, Birchwood Dental, and Dr. Dan Carlson, Minnesota Ortho, Midwest Bank, Dean and Rhonda Olhus Insurance. Evans going to the corner. That is 6 points. Eagan. Tonsauger.
Landon Tonsauger doing it outside as well as inside. We've had a steady diet of him between the tackles, and here he splits out, goes up, defensive back gets spun around, is swiping at the ball, but Tonsauger does a nice job of getting that one and bringing it in. And again, the Wildcats score now with an opportunity to close it to a 2-touchdown game.
27 yards on that one. Jack Hansen, PAT is good. 27-14.
Well, I know that the Wildcats will say that, somebody might look at this and say, well, these are garbage time. Well, it's not garbage time now because it's a 2-touchdown lead with just less than 4 minutes to go. Yep. Maybe,
it starts, you got to get the onside kick.
Yeah, you got to get the onside kick. So Hansen's going to have to dial up something here. That ball's going to have to go at least 10 yards. Hopefully he's learned from the last one, and he's going to be able to do something a little extra with this one to get it another 10 yards. We're going to find out.
Yep. And Forest Lake, again, they're going to put their hands team
Absolutely.
out there. Jack Hansen's got to make sure that ball goes at least 10 yards this time, because that last one, it didn't make it 10. He's too soft on the touch.
He's got to do something. He's got to pound this ball into the turf. And this is why you practice, right? This is why Hansen practices this stuff and works on this stuff, because now is when you need it.
Coach Bisco was telling us Forest Lake every day in practice, special teams, special teams, special teams. It's one of the 3 phases of football, and it often gets overlooked. And that ball
Wildcats
is
got it.
Caught by the Wildcats. Eagan, who else would it be?
Not sure if we're going to get a replay on this one or not. It happens quick. Eagan does a great job coming up with this football. It hit a Ranger right in the chest. It hit the good hands guy right in the chest and went right in front of him. And then Eagan jumps on it. Wow. So you're saying there's a chance, Mike.
That was a wide receiver, by the way, that touched that football for Forest Lake. Don't want to mention him having to be the one negative of the night that we mentioned that name, but Cass from the 45. Evans, hook, ladder. Out of bounds, George Anderson.
I got to tell you, Mike, that was well designed. Regardless of how this game ends up, that was a well-designed play. We all thought the hook and ladder was going to go early there to Gage, but in fact, it's Anderson coming around the corner. And Gage ends up becoming a blocker.
11 yards on the pass, first down. Into the 30. Eagan. Give him, what are we going to give him? 5 on that play.
They'll give him 5 all day as long as they don't give him 20. That's what the Rangers want.
Outside, Hoyt can't get him. Eagan to the stick, first down Eagan.
First down Eagan, that's Eagan, what a play. Hoyt came out of nowhere. He has him dead to rights in the backfield. What a stiff arm that time by Eagan. I mean, look at this. I mean, that's probably the best tackler, the best defender that the Rangers have, and Eagan just left him hugging the turf. It was a great effort for his hands to get there, but if his arms don't wrap up, that's not effective.
3:21 to go. Cats have had the last 14. Tonsauger. It's about half of that, 7 yards on first down. Cats, have got to hurry up on offense. 1 timeout remaining for the home team. And we've got, did he spike it in time? Looks like they did get the spike down in time. Forest Lake got in pretty quick on that. I wasn't sure if they initially beat.
It was very curious, wasn't it?
3:12 to go.
Oh, Wildcats have a chance here, Mike Cook.
Yep.
They stick it in quick.
Yep.
They stick it in quick. They could. I dare to dream, and they could flip the switch here. Script here on the Rangers.
3 receivers for the Cats. A pattern you rarely see. Evans to the corner. That ball is up. Is it caught? No, it falls incomplete. Tonsager was back there. Jake Aho on the coverage for Forest Lake. What a nicely thrown ball. Aho, nice job to not cause a flag.
Well, I was just going to say Aho was that was brilliant defense. He went straight up in the air with his arms up. If Tonsager had stopped his feet, I think he would have drawn a flag, but he's trying to make the catch.
The pit is making noise.
Offensive line's got to be stout here. Give Brooklyn Evans some time.
Evans to throw. He's got to scramble first. Evans got to cut it up. Hangs on. It's down to about the 16. That's maybe a 1-yard pickup. And the Cats are going to take that final timeout.
Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely. Get the timeout. Reset everybody here on 4th down. It's decent blocking inside, but Evans needed to make a decision maybe a little bit earlier. He was rolling out to his he's a right-handed quarterback rolling to his left, Mike, and that's just a tough call to make. If he had made the call early, I'm going to run it, he had Keenan Wilson out in front of him who could have probably laid the lumber on somebody, maybe sprung him for an extra few yards. And of course with Brooklyn Evans, the minute he gets going full speed in the secondary, he can find the end zone. But that time he was trying to get to the end zone through the air.
Again, Mark Rendell, though, again, one of the top defenders for Forest Lake, made sure that play went no further. Wrapped up Evans, brought him down. A very secure tackle by the junior.
Oh, it had to be. It absolutely had to be.
So the Wildcat, let's call it, the Wildcat season is on the line right here.
Yep. I think that's absolutely the case. The Wildcat season's on the line, and they got to dial up something here. They need about 9.5 yards, 10 yards. I have to think, honestly, Mike Cook, they're going to run this to the end zone. I think that I mean the tricky play here would be to try to just get the first down, but I think intuitively this ball goes into the end zone.
Think about back in that 3rd quarter, they had Huseman from the tight end spot. Throw was just a hair high. Does Forest Lake think about that? Huseman's lined up on the left. Ison's on the wing left. Anderson wing right. Timeout, Forest Lake.
Well, the Wildcats came out in what honestly looked like a weird a formation we haven't seen from them yet this year. So as a result, the Rangers take a timeout, doing a night, again, smart to take the timeout. If you haven't seen that formation before, you're not sure who's eligible or who's not. If you're a coach, you want to make sure your guys are lined up correctly. It's smart to do. Now that being said, Mike Cook, if the Wildcats either A, convert this first down, or B, score, this place is going to explode. Absolutely explode.
Yeah, I look down and 80% of the Eagan fan base is still here.
Absolutely.
We're here earlier. Crank up a little Steve Perry and Journey with the Don't Stop Believin'.
Don't Stop Believin'.
And look at the pit. They are, again, the sophomores in white, juniors in green, the seniors in blue, freshmen also in white. Are they going to go nuts, for lack of a better word? 4th down. Cass got to have it. Coming near side. Where have we seen this before? Anderson to the end zone, knocked away. Excellent coverage by Forest Lake. Nolan Domansu, name we have not called all night. One of the top defenders, makes the play of the game for Forest Lake. Peter McGivern and the Wildcats are going to end on a tough note.
Well, Anderson's pass is a good one, but there's the coverage is just there's so much
awesome
coverage back there.
Yep. Interesting. Brooklyn Evans is out as a wide receiver.
Absolutely. You know what? One more thing. If Anderson had run that football, would he have gotten a first down? It looked like the Wildcats had that blocked up, but again, Anderson's looking to go to the end zone. I completely respect that.
Yep.
But I wonder if I look at that replay again later tonight, I wonder if I would see some green grass in front of him.
Well, 2:47 to go. Cats are out of timeouts. And why not finish with a flurry? Can he go the distance? 10 to the 5. What a run by Leighton Patzer. Game, set, match.
That's how you slam the door on it. That's if there was ever a chance, if you were going to stop, if the Wildcats were going to get the stop against the Rangers down deep. But again, the Wildcats blitzed. The Wildcats brought inside pressure, and they picked the wrong gap. And I don't know if they picked the wrong gap or whether they just got pushed into the wrong gap, but Petzer just did not have anybody in front of him, doing a nice job that time of just racing down the field. I'm sure he's kicking himself thinking, hey, I should have stuck that in the end zone, but that's a long way for anybody to run.
I didn't get the number on that Eagan D-back that raced back to stop him. Credit to that young man.
I think it was Caden Tonsager.
That would have been my assumption. His side of the field.
Yep.
But an 81-yard run. Tonsager, you're a senior. You're playing your last game as an Eagan Wildcat. You make a play like that. I don't know how to say how much that shows that you still care.
Hey, it was a spirited comeback here for the Wildcats.
Forest Lake student section starting to do the serenading of the Eagan fans with Nana, hey, goodbye. 2:28 to go. You can't quite just kneel down 3 times to get the clock to run out at this point. And we've got a whistle because we have a timeout, Forest Lake. Okay, clock issue. So for the Eagan Wildcats, can they make a stand at the end? Straight ahead to the 1. Zeidler to the 1. That's a 4-yard pickup. As the clock ticks. Again, I don't think they're in a situation where you can just kneel down and the clock's going to run out. I think they're going to chase at the 2, by the way, but 3-yard run. So Forest Lake is going to have to run a play. And you don't look at this as running up the score. This is just situational.
No.
Cats show blitz. And the ball is
loose.
Picked up. Cats. Jack Hansen. Well. And you can hear the Forest League coaches up here next to us. So what a pop, though. Jerry Tella for the Wildcats with the pop.
Jerry Tella not going quietly into the Eagan night.
Nope, one of the captains on this squad. Again, playing his last game as an Eagan Wildcat. So Eagan takes over at their own 20, we'll call it the 22, 23-yard line, it looks like, with a buck 37 to go.
Well, again, the Wildcats, again, if a couple of big chunks of yardage, you never know what could happen. No timeouts, though, so they got to get out of bounds, and they got to move it quick.
Peter McGivern near side. I think it's Tonsager that went out in the slot. Brooklyn Evans got to come this way. He's going to throw against his body. And that's going to be out to the 35-yard line. Tonsager, pickup of about 13. And he more importantly, or maybe most importantly, got out of bounds.
Oh, absolutely. It's critical. I mean, you'll give up yardage to get out of bounds and move just, again, chunks. Now, 13 yards isn't enough, right? They got to get 30 yards at a time here to get down. And if you're the Rangers, what are you doing? Just let them get 10 yards. That's fine. Just everybody should be back 15 yards. Instead, they're sent to the house.
Evans sort of steps up. Last thing you could take right there is a sack. And we've got a late flag as we've got extracurricular on the near side. And it was Hunter Grube and Howie Johnson with a sack, but we're going to have an unsportsmanlike coming up. I just saw the after effects. I didn't see what started it.
Both players are swinging on each other, and it's frustration for the Wildcat. It's it's upset for the Ranger. It's it's unfortunate, but probably going to have both players flagged here. That's probably what should be happening here.
1:21 time remaining. Personal foul, Eagan. Personal foul, Forest Lake.
That's the right call.
Yeah. Nick Johnson's going to get an explanation.
Well, he doesn't need much of an explanation. It happened right in front of him.
Absolutely.
Moses is upset. Ranger was upset. Everybody was upset. And
yeah, again, I only saw the aftermath with the flag flying, so I don't know who was involved.
Yeah, it was.
As you look at Brad Bisco, the coach for Forest Lake, first year as the helm of this Ranger program.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ranger program. He was an assistant at Holy Angels for the last 4 years.
71 has been disqualified.
Oh.
Penalties offset.
Done a really nice job of
second down.
helping get this Forest Lake program back on the map. Forest Lake program that for quite a while was struggling, to say the least.
Yeah, well,
I think they lost, I believe, 41 in a row at one point over a 4-year span.
Yeah, and this is not something that the Rangers wanted. The Rangers they don't want to end the game this way, right?
No.
I mean, they've given up late scores. They've put the ball on the turf. They fumbled when they should have could have kneeled on it, and now they got players. We got personal foul penalties and all kinds of other sloppiness. That's not the kind of thing you want to do when you're getting ready for Maple Grove.
Right.
The Rangers should be focused on, hey, how can we be perfect and get ready for next week? Instead, they're in a slog with the Wildcats.
Eagan cheerleaders trying to get the fans fired up. Evans over the middle. Got his tight end right there. That's Huseman out to the 47 of Forest Lake. That's about a 24-yard gain. But the clock continues to roll.
If the Rangers are going to keep sending 7 guys or have 7 guys up at the front, then that pop pass or that pass to the tight end is going to be there open all day. I keep throwing it.
So first down at the 47, then a quick spike there by Evans. I mean, you can hear some of the Forest Lake coaches up here next to us that are
upset.
Yeah, vocal about their team, shall we say.
Oh, why aren't their linebackers at 10 yards? Why aren't their safeties at 15 or 20?
Absolutely.
I mean, what are we doing here, folks?
Yep. Yeah, and that's part of a championship team. You've got to be able to finish on both sides of the ball, whether you're up 7 or 13 or 17 or 22. Here's Evans. Pressured. Brooklyn Evans out to the 42. There is a flag on the play. Eagan's going to most likely go 10 yards the wrong way.
Could also be an ineligible downfield. Could be an ineligible down.
Oh, it's on Forest Lake.
Okay, so we have a defensive hold, probably. Guy's trying to get out into the pattern, and he gets pulled down.
I just saw the official point that way. I did not see the first part of the signal.
And we're not going to get it there on the replay, but you got to be careful. Evans got tripped out of bounds. Not that I'd throw a flag there, but you got to be careful there. If you're the Rangers, you don't want to make any more bad decisions.
Results in the first down.
6 yards.
Defensive holding, so I think that's 10 yards, right?
Plus 10, yep. First down Wildcats at the Forest Lake 31, I believe. Yep, there you go, to the 31.
Well, the Wildcats are certainly making this interesting. The Rangers were in
the
control. Well, the Rangers are making it interesting too. You're right.
Evans. Tonsauger, bottom of your screen. Evans going Tonsauger's way. That ball is knocked down nicely by number 9 for Forest Lake. One of their better linebackers, that's Aho.
Yeah, he's had a heck of a game. Aho, that is, has had a heck of a game for the Rangers.
Yep.
It's been all over the field. The Wildcats are being asked now to do something that they don't typically do, which is, pass the ball, hurry up offense, get down the field quickly. That's not what this offense is built for. It's not what they want to be doing. But that being said, I think the Wildcats are learning some valuable lessons here about being able to move this football.
Evans and the Wildcats. Evans will keep. He's over the line. He's going to run. He's got a first down. He's got to get outside, though. Does he get out of bounds? He does, barely. Down to the 14-yard line. 17 yards on that run. Little gutsy move there by Evans, who should have got out of bounds back at about the 20 to be safe. But instead, first down, Forest Lake 14. We are inside a minute to go. We're down to 47 seconds.
So Evans had gotten the first down. That's why they stopped the clock. He did not actually get out of bounds, Mike Cook, and that's why the clock started when the ball was signaled ready to play. But that being said, I mean, the Wildcats find themselves on the 14, let's call it the 14-yard line of the Rangers. 47 seconds left, and percentage chances aren't good, but if you're the Wildcats, hey, let's stick one more in.
Absolutely. What do the Cats do here? They need to go to the end zone. Evans, he's going to throw it at the cone. Tonsager inside the 1.
What a nice catch by Landon Tonsager. Sorry about that. Good pass. His feet, unlucky. His feet were clearly on the other side of the pylon in the blue, but the ball wasn't.
Right.
Oh, my heavens. Oh, my heavens. To his credit, he gets out of bounds.
Well, Evans, will he keep it himself again? Evans, handoff. Tonsager, 6 points, Eagan.
Mike Cook, is it fair to call this a spirited Eagan comeback in the fourth quarter? I think it is, isn't it?
Yes.
On the verge of putting 21 on the board in the fourth quarter. Nice push coming across.
And I'll tell you, if Eagan does come up short, it's going to be a case of what could have been.
Absolutely. Wildcats having a little personnel problem because Adrian Moses was disqualified. So they got
then a false start.
Yeah, the Wildcats have got to make sure they've got the right personnel, and they didn't have a whole lot of time, and then they had to get the snap off quickly.
Well, the grand scheme of things, this extra point really doesn't mean a whole lot. When you get within 6,
well,
even if you don't get it,
Well, although that being said,
it's still a one-score game.
Well,
I guess what I'm getting at.
No, it's a one-score game, but if I'm down by 6 and a touchdown ties it, then
right.
versus I don't have to kick an extra point. I'm just saying. Now, Hansen was going left early in the game, or in pregame.
So it's a 25-yard PAT. Kick is up.
Crushed it.
And
nice.
It is good. 27-21. Wildcats, 21 unanswered.
And I'll say this, Mike Cook, it's already a question of what if, right? Regardless of what happens here.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what happens here, even if the Rangers recover this onside kick and kneel on it once and we're all done and the season's over, Wildcats will say to themselves, hey, have we not put the ball on the turf 6 times, losing 3 of them in the first half? What are we, where are we at? What could we have had, or what could we have done?
Absolutely.
Eagan faithful still standing here. I got a lot of parents, a lot of senior parents especially, really excited. See some consternation over there on the Forest Lakes, Forest Lake fan side. I mean, they're happy. They should win this football game, but boy, this is not nearly as comfortable as it was going to be.
No, not at all. Little monkeys, I'm a believer on the PA system right now. Forest Lake get this one. That ball is going to, I believe, make its way all the way.
There was a whistle blown. I don't think they were ready.
No.
I don't think they'd whistled the ball ready for play.
Right. Yeah, that ball.
I don't think they'd whistle the ball ready for play because that whistle was.
Only 3 guys on the side of the kicker. 5-yard penalty. Re-kick.
Okay, so now the Wildcats are going to move back 5 yards. They're going to have 5 players at least on each side of the kicker. I'm a little surprised that they would have made that mistake, but as it turns out, that ball found its way. Although, why wouldn't they let that play out? I'm not sure, but in any event.
Can Forest Lake finally put away the Eagan Wildcats? Oh, big hit. And they're going to call it flag. Imagine that's going to be on the Wildcats for a high hit.
It is. It's a terrible call, but that's the state of football today.
Wyatt Saltness, I believe, was the man who came up with that football.
Yeah, and it's a brave act. It's what he has to do. But again, it's not a penalty. Sorry, it's not. It's not a penalty. But in the grand scheme of things, Mike Cook, it wouldn't matter whether it's a penalty or not.
Right.
Bottom line is the Rangers have the football.
Yep.
They're going to kneel on it once, and we're all, well, maybe they might have to kneel on it twice.
No, they'll do it once. That should be enough. And then
15 yards from the end of the kick.
Then they'll head
First
back
down.
up 35E to Forest Lake with a W. And they'll be heading across the north side of the Metro next week as they go to Maple Grove in the round of 16. Forest Lake Rangers are in the round of 16. Again, that's a year ago at this time, nobody would have thought that sentence was going to happen. Just a credit to this Forest Lake staff and players to get to this point. And, of course, for the Eagan Wildcats, you got to give the credit to Nick Johnson, his staff, the guys. Valiant effort once again by the Wildcats.
It's disappointing to have a season end in any fashion, whether you're, what doesn't matter what you're, it doesn't matter what uniform you wear, it doesn't matter who you play for. It's challenging to have your season end. The Rangers are going to have one more week at least of their season. The Wildcats are going to be left to answer questions in the offseason, Mike Cook, as to what if they had had the opportunity, to, if they had taken advantage of the opportunities that they had early in this game, if they hadn't put the ball on the turf so many times and set up the Rangers with such good field position.
Yep.
The comeback in the fourth quarter was great entertainment, shows some fighting spirit. Unfortunate that it just comes up short.
Yep. So there's your final score. The Rangers from Forest Lake, they advance, proving to 7-2 on the season. The 5th seed knocks off the 4th seed Eagan Wildcats, 27-21. Again, congratulations to Forest Lake and best of luck the rest of the way as you go up to Maple Grove next week, take on the #1 Crimson. And for the Eagan Wildcats, thank you for a memorable season. It's been a fun run. This group of seniors, what do you say about this group of seniors that have, when they were freshmen, this program was bottom feeder.
Yeah, when they
right
were
now, look where the Cats are at. These
right.
seniors have got plenty to be proud of.
The seniors, well, I having been at Eagan High School when it was founded in the early 90s, one of the things we wanted to do back then was build a tradition. And that was our motto over and over, build a tradition, build a tradition. And now the Wildcats, they took a detour to greatness. Now they're climbing back into that. Now they're crawling back into that. They're building that tradition back up again. And It's always tough when the season ends. You always feel like you could have done more, maybe you should have done more or whatever, but the bottom line is the Wildcats gave us, as you said, Mike Cook, a memorable season. These seniors have a lot to be proud of. The culture is definitely changed here at Wildcat Stadium, and the school's buzzing, the community's buzzing, and I get the feeling, despite the fact that this game ended up the way that we didn't want it to end up, I think the Wildcats will be back next year stronger and more resilient.
Yep. So that's going to put a wrap on the 2022 season for the Eagan Wildcats. Coming up just short, first home playoff game since 2014. They rallied, just dug too deep of a hole. So again, congratulations to the Forest Lake Rangers. Good luck the rest of the way. And on behalf of the entire Eagan TV crew, he's Nathan Cron, I'm Mike Cook. Thank you so much for being with us tonight and all season long. We'll do it again in 2023 for Eagan Wildcat football.